As Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis gear up for their November 14th showdown, leaked sparring footage featuring Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis surfaced on a boxing YouTube channel, sparking widespread controversy across the boxing world.
I didn't even notice it at first, honestly. I want to see the replay. Like, I don't even know if I moved at all. But it was pretty fast. I didn't see it coming, so we'll
While most of the boxing community was unaware, Jake Paul and Gervonta held a private sparring session during his 14-month layoff before his bout with Frank Martin. The session came after Gervonta Davis criticized Jake Paul's boxing skills, claiming his own punching power was on par with that of a super middleweight.
Oh, there you go. 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 Take deep breath in water. Take deep breath. Right. Take deep breath.
As expected, the sparring session went exactly as Gervonta Davis had predicted. Despite Jake Paul's attempts to use his size, height, and reach to overpower Gervonta Davis, Tank cleverly relied on his footwork. Throughout, Jake Paul's limited technical skill left him searching only for a knockout.
What makes you think that you can be the fighter to stop him? And if you can't stop him, do you think you can stop him?
Yeah, for sure. I think I can stop. I'm much quicker than him. He's much stronger, much bigger, but we all know that tall fighters is a taller fighter. A shorter person is hard to fight a taller person. So a taller person is hard to fight a shorter person.
We made it smaller gloves just now today, so someone's getting put to sleep.
How's your mental?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just so happy to be here. I love all of this. Excited to get back to camp and just knock this guy out and prove people wrong once again.
He tried to catch Gervonta Davis off guard, hoping to drop the lightweight champion, but Tank's tight high guard absorbed all of Jake's shots. Tank then switched to counterpunching, and if points were counted, it was clear he dominated the sparring. Fans watching it for the first time couldn't hide their astonishment. Damn, this is exactly how the real fight will go. Boxing is about skill, not size. No way a YouTuber beats a boxer as skilled as Tank, a fan commented. Another added, I don't know how anyone thinks this matchup makes sense. It's just a younger version of Tyson versus Jake. Nothing new or special.
Versus Gervonta Davis.
Oh, I don't care. I don't think anyone cares, man. No one cares. No one cares.
To ensure the fight mirrors their sparring, Davis has brought in heavyweight sparring partners to prepare for the 6 feet 2 inches cruiserweight Paul. Yet, the social media star isn't too concerned. Recently, Gervonta Davis posted a photo on Instagram showing himself training with a much larger sparring partner. The image quickly spread online, reaching Jake Paul's feed. But Jake seemed unfazed, reposting it on his own story with a response.
We know he's going to be definitely frustrated. You know, he's slower. You know, his arm reach not that much long. We just got to wait and see until we get in there and test the waters. But I'm for sure though that he's decent and he's going to hold up for a couple rounds. But once it get hot in there, you know, I think it's play out.
Gervonta sparring a guy with cankles. Buddy, get a real athlete, Jake mocked. Terrence Crawford was as shocked as everyone when the news broke. Because of the huge weight difference, Crawford believes the outcome might not favor Davis. Jake is too big for Tank, Crawford said on the Full Send podcast. In reality, he's way too big for him.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over.
Though Crawford has admitted he's not the biggest Davis fan, the 37-year-old refuses to dismiss his skills. Still, he emphasized that the size gap is an overwhelming challenge. Tank is very talented, hits hard, explosive, but Jake is too big, Crawford added. In his last fight, Davis struggled, earning only a majority draw against Lamont Roach on March 1st at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. A rematch seemed certain until Davis abruptly accepted Paul's offer.
What do you think about it?
Bruh.
Yeah. Lay it on me, Rolly. What do you think, bro? Come on.
I don't even know what to think right now. I don't even know what to think. Maybe Tank has an unreal boxing ability and Jake Paul is really big. But the last time I said somebody was going to be bigger, they weren't that much bigger. But I think in this case, somebody's actually a lot bigger, so.
Did you see the face-off?
Yeah.
He's a lot bigger, even though I know it's like 190.
Meanwhile, the former YouTuber turned fringe cruiserweight contender has long faced criticism for his opponent choices. Crawford doesn't see much purpose in this matchup but says he'll still tune in. If the bout turns out to be more than an overhyped sparring session, Crawford believes Davis will lose, and badly. "I think Jake," he said when asked for his pick. "He's just too big. If Jake lands one clean shot on Tank, it's over. Jake's right hand can crack. He's big, not as slow as people think, and he can punch."
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
He's just too small?
it just
Shakur Stevenson, the 28-year-old WBC lightweight champion, appeared on TMZ Sports shortly after the Paul vs. Davis fight was announced. Tank is one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, but he's giving up a lot, nearly 60 pounds, Stevenson noted. Tank's last weigh-in was 133, Jake's was 199. Does Jake really have a shot? No, replied the 24-0 star without hesitation. Nope, Shakur repeated firmly.
Butler's always going to come in there 100% and he's going to be on top of his game. He's going to be sharp, fast, strong. I think that's the thing that's going to surprise a lot of people with this fight is Bud power carries up. It's not just power that was just there for 147 or 140. His power carries up in weight. So I think that's the biggest thing that's going to surprise everybody.
Shakur, have you noticed that he's a step slower and any downside to adding on a little bit of size with Bud?
I mean, I can't get into his...
I mean, size will matter somewhat, but if I were Tank, I'd just outbox him and use my IQ, Stevenson said. I could see Tank outboxing him easily. Davis's 28 knockouts and 31 fights back up his fearsome reputation, meaning Paul could be in trouble. I think Tank wins by decision, Stevenson added. That guy's too big. I don't see Tank knocking him out, but I see him outboxing him. Babcock pressed further, and Stevenson stood by his view.
Gio's World, facts. That's why Tank wants to fight Jake Paul. I'm telling you, he want to fight Jake Paul because he know if he climb in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, he's going to get zapated. He know it. They all know it.
Nah, I don't see Tank knocking Jake out. Stevenson clearly believes this will be one-sided, but he isn't disrespecting the problem child. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but there are levels to this. Shakur Stevenson made one thing clear, he won't be watching Paul versus Davis. Hell no, he said when asked, then explained to TMZ Sports, that ain't really like I said, here's the thing. I've got two sides of me. I've got a business side and a competitor side. And from the competitive side, it doesn't excite me to say, okay, I want to watch it.
And like 109 point something his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He hasn't been only boxing for a couple of years. He's 12-1. Tank Davis obviously been boxing his whole life. He's 30-1. He's knocked everybody out except for 3 opponents in his life. But at what point does size matter so much though, where it can't be overcome, Shakur? And is it in this case here when you've got what is like a 70-pound difference between these two guys?
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but
Stevenson also said he saw this coming. No, I'm not shocked. I mean, in his last fight against Lamont, Jake Paul was there. He told y'all he was going to fight someone like Jake Paul. So I'm not surprised. But beyond his analysis, the fight still doesn't sit right with Shakur Stevenson. He was frustrated when rumors first spread that Davis was negotiating an exhibition with the YouTuber, even before confirmation. For Stevenson, that decision disrespects boxing and undermines his own long-standing pursuit of a real title fight with Davis. Tank is disrespecting the sport if he chooses an exhibition with Paul instead of fighting me, Stevenson told Fight Hub TV.
Think about the rumors that Tank and Jake might fight.
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on it.
I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been saying that. He called cap on it. So, if he's going to say I'm not who I claim to be, come prove it, Stevenson stated. I think it's dangerous for him to go back and fight Lamont. Lamont's a hell of a fighter that could go left. He better be on his A game. Shakur's words reflect years of frustration after trying unsuccessfully to secure a fight with Gervonta Davis. Although both compete in the same division and hold belts, Stevenson with the WBC, Davis with the WBA, negotiations have repeatedly fallen apart. Between mixed statements and evasions, their rivalry has turned into a soap opera in modern boxing. Fans grow impatient as Gervonta appears to prefer media spectacle, flirting instead with an exhibition against Jake Paul.
He's just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is...
Months before facing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul had already hinted at the matchup, saying his team was working to secure a fight with Gervonta Davis. We're working on it, but it'll probably be an exhibition, he said then. Now it's official. The announcement has taken over boxing headlines. A fight between a ranked cruiserweight and a lightweight champion sounds absurd. Still, some, like Claressa Shields, welcome the spectacle. For Shields, the news was shocking. Gervonta Davis had fought Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, and the controversial result had fueled rematch talk for August. Instead, Davis will now face Jake Paul.
Tank, it's the biggest fight in the world. Yeah. Like, it's gonna be the biggest boxing fight in the world when it happens. I can see it happening not too far in the future. Really? I can see it happening. I don't think, like, I think Tank will sign that contract. Dang. And I'm going to sign a contract too, so then you're gonna get it on.
Shields admitted she might still tune in, out of curiosity. Shakur Stevenson reacted differently. He's chased a mega fight with Davis for years, but the Baltimore native chose a cruiserweight YouTuber instead. Shields posted on X, seeing Tank vs. Jake Paul announced today and not Lamont Roach was shocking, but I'm still going to watch. She predicted Gervonta Davis would win not due to better mental shape, but superior experience and skill. In his 12-year career, Davis has fought at 140 pounds only once. Now he's facing an opponent who competes at 200. Jake Paul, meanwhile, told Ariel Helwani that the fight will be held at 195 pounds.
I think Tank is going through things that we don't know that he's going through mentally, so that's why I kind of like don't want to. I think that whenever I say something about him, it go viral and then they make it a way for us to beef or whatever.
Pile on.
Yeah, and it's more of like I ain't got to be friends with him, but I don't hate the dude, and I wish him well. I think that if he get his mental.
It'll be an exhibition, 10 3-minute rounds, no restrictions, Paul said, admitting it couldn't be officially sanctioned. According to Tim Bradley, deep down, Davis has effectively retired, taking the exhibition only for the payday. Tank is done, Bradley told The Ring. He hung it up. Shoes off, plaque up. He's done. Though Bradley has always respected Davis's talent, his recent performances concern him. To Bradley, things began unraveling earlier this year when the 30-year-old WBA lightweight champion entered the ring against Lamont Roach as a massive favorite at Brooklyn's Barclays Center on March 1st.
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might say it in a minute. Definitely might say it in a minute.
Many, including Bradley, expected Davis to win convincingly, but he had to settle for a majority draw. That disappointing showing seemed to reignite him, leading to plans for an August 16th rematch in Las Vegas. Yet, the rematch was never formally announced, and it's unclear whether it will ever happen. The Ring reported the bout might take place on August 23rd or 30th, but no confirmation has followed. Before meeting Roach, Davis appeared set to face Jake Paul had he beaten Roach. Paul later confirmed those discussions himself.
Ultimately, it's about like being in the ring with him, right? That's the main thing. He want to be able to say, look what I've done in the last 4 years, 5 years, or 5 years in boxing. I got to the top. I fought the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, Canelo Alvarez or Anthony Joshua, heavyweight champ. That's just it. That's all he wants. He looking for clout, man. That's it. Clout at the end of the day. He know he can't beat none of those dudes.
But if he stepped in the ring with an Anthony Joshua, all jokes aside, would you, from the outside looking in, a former fighter, you know how dangerous this is, would you look and go?
Paul also revealed the fight is still possible if Davis wins the Roach rematch. Bradley, however, believes Davis's mind is elsewhere. Tank is checked out mentally, Bradley said. He's chasing the big bag of Jake Paul, then he's done. He's got other things he wants to do. He's tired of boxing. Former welterweight champion Andre Berto also weighed in, saying the upcoming Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis exhibition is purely a money grab. Tank doesn't care what the fans think about this circus matchup, Berto said.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man. So
we see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach.
Could be, yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And obviously, Lamont Roach, man. Look, anybody that can take a shot and that's tough, bro, and that can take it to Tank, they can beat him. All right, Roach, he mentally tough, had his game plan, was able to execute, was able to march forward in spots. He was able to control a lot of the action,
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, wow, Berto remarked. It sounds crazy, but doing it in Atlanta is a smart move. I've lived near Atlanta for over 45 years, and I can tell you, if something big happens in the city, everyone shows up. It's going to be packed. He noted that while true boxing fans are upset, the sport today is all about entertainment. That's the reality right now, boxing is entertainment.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Wow, that sounds crazy. That sounds real crazy. But doing it in Atlanta was a very smart strategic move. Because one thing about Atlanta, I lived in Atlanta for a good 4 to 5 years. And I know one thing when it comes to us, anything that's popping in the city, they coming out. The city is coming out. So the city will be coming out. It's going to be packed. A packed house in Atlanta come out. Of course, support Gervonta, because like I say, Jake ain't never in his life going to see a stadium so filled with black people in his life. You know what I mean? They coming out. It's going to be crazy, right? I see a lot of people in the comments, of course, they're upset.
Regardless of the odds, Jake and Tank aim to deliver a spectacular showdown next month. And that's all for now. For the best updates, news, and highlights from the boxing world, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss quality content like this. Until next time, peace.